The Silent. Chapter 1. The House of Shadows. The house was very old, and it was very quiet. It was far away in the countryside, surrounded by green fields and ancient oak trees. Inside, the only sound was the slow tick-tock of the grandfather clock in the hallway. Sophie sat on the sofa, holding a cold cup of tea. She looked at her grandmother, Elara. Grandma Elara was 85 years old. She sat in her favorite green armchair, wrapped in a warm blanket. Her eyes were open, and she looked out the large window at the garden. But Sophie knew that her grandmother didn't really see the roses or the butterflies. She saw things from a long time ago. "Grandma, do you want some water?" Sophie asked gently. Elara didn't answer immediately. Then she turned her head slowly. Her eyes looked confused for a moment. "Oh, Sophie. Yes, please, dear. Water is good." Sophie felt a deep sadness in her heart. 3 years ago, Grandma Elara was full of energy. She baked cakes, she worked in the garden, and she laughed. But after Grandpa Arthur died, the music inside Elara stopped. She didn't laugh anymore. She lived in a world of silence and shadows. "I need to do something," Sophie thought. "This house is too quiet." That afternoon, Sophie decided to explore the house. She needed to clean and organize things. She went to the top floor and looked up. A small wooden ladder led to the attic. She pulled it down and climbed up. Chapter 2. The Treasure in the Dust. The attic smelled like old dust and rain. The ceiling was low, and spires had webs in every corner. Sunlight came through a small, dirty window. It was full of dust, dancing in the air. Sophie saw many boxes. They were brown and gray, covered in years of neglect. "Where do I start?" she sighed. She opened the first box. Inside were old newspapers from the 1970s. She opened another one. It was full of Grandpa Arthur's old shirts. She smiled, remembering how he smelled like peppermint and tobacco. Then she saw a large wooden box. It was different from the cardboard ones. It had a metal lock, but the lock was broken. Sophie pushed the heavy lid open. Inside, there was something large, wrapped in a soft, white cloth. But the cloth was yellow now, because it was very old. She took it out. It was light but large. She very carefully unwrapped the object. Her breath caught in her throat. "Oh, wow," she whispered. It was a violin. It was beautiful. The wood was a deep, rich brown color, like dark honey. It was an old instrument, and Sophie saw some small scratches on it. These scratches didn't make it look bad. They made it look like it had stories to tell. The 4 strings were still there, but they were very old and could not make music. Next to violin was a black bow, but the horsehair on it was broken. "This is incredible," Sophie thought. She ran her fingers over the smooth wood. Sophie looked deeper into the wooden box. Under the cloth, there was a small red notebook. It was a diary. The pages were yellow and fragile. On the first page, written in ink, was Elara's diary, 1959. Sophie sat down on the dusty rug near the window and opened the diary. She felt like she was stepping into another person's life. Chapter 3. The Secret Story. She read slowly, learning new words and trying to understand Grandma's younger life. The writing was elegant but passionate. March 3rd, 1960. Today I met Julian. He is new in the village. He has the kindest blue eyes and laugh that sounds like a bell. He plays the violin. When he plays, time stops. May 12th, 1960. Julian played for me today under the big oak tree by the river. The song was soft and romantic. My heart was pounding. He looked at me and said, "Elara, this music is for you." I love him so much. I think he knows. Sophie smiled. She never knew about Julian. Grandma married Grandpa Arthur in 1965. Arthur was a good man, but he was practical and quiet. This Julian was a romantic musician. She read more. The story was perfect until 1962. August 1st, 1962. A terrible day. Julian is leaving. He must go to work in a different country, far across the sea. He promised it is only for 1 year. He gave me his violin. "Keep this, Elara," he said. "It is my heart. I will come back for it." I cried all day. My tears are on the strings. And then the last entry. February 14th, 1963. The silence is too loud today. My mother came to me and held my hand. Julian is never coming back. There was an accident. He is gone forever. My world is empty. I will never listen to the violin again. I will hide it away with my broken heart. Sophie felt tears streaming down her face. She closed the diary. The story was so sad, so full of pain. She looked at the old, scratched violin. Now she understood why the attic was dusty and why the house was quiet. The silence was not peaceful. It was a cage for Grandma's heart. Chapter 4. The Sound of Yesterday. It was evening when Sophie went downstairs. The house was already in shadows. Grandma Elara was still in her green armchair, asleep now. Her face looked small and old. Sophie decided she must break the silence. She didn't want Grandma to live in the dark, silent cage anymore. She went back up to the attic. She very carefully took the violin and the broken bowl. She didn't want to fix the strings yet. She just wanted the violin to be present. She went into the living room and put the violin on the large dining table. She turned on a small lamp. Then she sat on the sofa near her grandmother. She waited for her to wake up. 20 minutes later, Elara opened her eyes. She gasped. She didn't look at Sophie. She looked at the table. She didn't speak. She just pointed with a trembling finger. Her face was full of different emotions: surprise, fear, and then a massive wave of sadness. Tears instantly filled her old eyes. "Where?" Elara whispered. Her voice was weak but full of emotion. Where did you find that? In the attic, Grandma, Sophie said softly. Her own voice was shaking. I found the wooden box. I found the diary too. I know about Julian. Elara started to sob. Not a loud cry, but a quiet, deep sob. These were tears from 60 years of silence. Sophie sat on the arm of the chair and hugged her grandmother. She let her cry. I loved him so much, Elara whispered. He promised to come back. I know, Grandma. He did. This violin is here. He gave it to you. Sophie gently took the violin from the table and placed it on her grandmother's lap. Elara's trembling, wrinkled hands touched the deep brown wood. She didn't see the scratches. She remembered the big oak tree, the river, and the music. Can I play something for you? Sophie asked. She didn't know how to play the violin well, but she knew a very simple old folk song about nature and hope. Elara nodded slowly. Sophie took the violin and the old broken bow. She sang softly. It was a story about the rain stopping and the sun coming out. Elara closed her eyes. A small smile, a real smile, appeared on her face. She was not 85 years old anymore. She was 20. She was under the oak tree. The music, even imperfectly played by her granddaughter, brought the memory to life. It's so beautiful, Elara said. He played like that. Sophie played for 20 minutes. She plucked the strings and hummed the melody. Elara started to hum too. Her voice was weak and off-key, but it was the most beautiful sound Sophie had ever heard. Chapter 5. The Last Talk. That evening something changed. Grandma Elara didn't want to be alone in the shadows. She asked Sophie to open the curtains in the dining room and light a candle. Tell me about Julian, Grandma, Sophie said. And Elara did. She talked for 3 hours. She described his blue eyes, his favorite joke, and how he always helped old people with their shopping. We planned so many things, Elara said. A house by the ocean, 3 children, so many dreams. For the first time in years, the house was not quiet. It was full of stories. It was full of memories that were sad, yes, but also full of love. She was alive with her past. At 10 p.m., Elara yawned. I'm tired, Sophie. My heart is full of music today. Sophie helped her grandmother into bed. She made her some hot milk. Before she left the room, Sophie turned off the main light and left a small night light on. Good night, Grandma. I love you. Good night, my beautiful Sophie. The music has come home, Elara said, her eyes already closing. Sophie smiled. She felt that she had done something important. She had broken the cage of silence. Chapter 6. The Peaceful Silence. The next morning the sun was bright. Sophie woke up at 8 a.m. The house was very quiet again, but this quiet felt different. It was a peaceful, soft silence, like a warm blanket. She went to the kitchen and made coffee. She decided to bring Grandma breakfast in bed. She made toast and scrambled eggs. She put everything on a tray. Sophie carried the tray to her grandmother's bedroom. The door was slightly open. The night light was still on. Sophie pushed the door open and smiled. Good morning, Grandma. Grandma Elara was in her bed. She was lying very still. She looked peaceful, like she was in a deep sleep. "Grandma, I brought you some breakfast." Sophie walked to the bed. Her heart started to pound very fast. Grandma Elara wasn't moving. Sophie put the tray on the table. She gently touched her grandma's hand. The hand was cold. Sophie gasped, "Grandma!" She looked at her grandma's face. The small smile from last night was still there. Elara had a beautiful, quiet look of peace on her face. But Sophie knew that Grandma was gone. Her heart was stopped beating sometime in the night. Sophie didn't scream. She sat on the edge of the bed and held her grandmother's cold hand. The tears came, but they were a mix of sadness and relief. She realized that yesterday was the most important day of all. Grandma Elara didn't die in silence and shadows. She died happy. She died with the melody of her first love in her heart. Sophie went back to the living room. She picked up the old violin from the attic. She looked at it for a long time. "Goodbye, Grandma," Sophie whispered in the new, peaceful silence of the house. "You are with Julian now, and I will make sure that music never stops."